Welcome back to G Fun Facts Online. Ever look up at the stars and think about exploration and discovery? Well, the final frontier is getting a major economic makeover. Today, we're not just gazing at celestial bodies like asteroids and the moon. We're sizing them up as the next big targets for resource extraction. It's a wild time where the sci-fi promise of space resources is actually meeting real business plans and cool new tech. The dream? A bustling economy, all happening in space, fueled by materials found beyond Earth. First up, let's talk asteroid mining. Think of asteroids not just as space rocks, but as floating treasure chests, remnants from when our solar system was just a baby. Some are packed with water ice. Now, water in space isn't just for drinking. It's liquid gold for creating rocket propellant, keeping life support systems humming, and even for space agriculture. Others are loaded with platinum group metals. Think platinum, palladium, and rhodium. Super valuable stuff back here on Earth for industry, electronics, and catalysts. And of course, you've got your everyday industrial metals, like iron, nickel, and cobalt in abundance. The big reason asteroid mining is so hot right now is something called in-situ resource utilization, or ISRU. Fancy term, simple idea, using what you find, where you find it. Launching anything from Earth costs an absolute fortune, so finding resources in space is a game changer. That water ice? Process it into hydrogen and oxygen, and boom, you've got propellant. We're talking about creating cosmic gas stations in orbit? This could slash the cost of deep space missions and operations around the moon. Bringing those precious metals back to Earth is a longer-term dream, mostly because of the huge logistical puzzles and the risk of flooding the market. For now, the focus is on building an in-space market for water and construction materials. But hold on, this isn't a simple gold rush. Profitable asteroid mining is packed with challenges. The initial investment? Astronomical. We're talking massive amounts for R&D, specialized spacecraft, super complex robotic mining tech, and missions that last for ages. Then there's finding the right asteroids, figuring out exactly what they're made of, and then reliably extracting and processing materials in weird microgravity environments. These are serious tech hurdles. And the return on investment? You've got to be patient, really patient. We're talking decades. So the early pioneers in this field are focusing on showing the tech works and locking down key patents. It's a team effort too, with companies and space agencies working together to clear these early roadblocks. All right, let's shift our gaze a little closer to home. The moon. Our closest celestial neighbor is a top candidate for setting up the first industries off-world. Decades of poking around have confirmed it's got valuable stuff. The headliner? Water ice, hidden in permanently shadowed craters at the poles. This lunar ice is a cornerstone for NASA's Artemis program and any future long-term human presence. Think about it. Breathable air, drinking water, and rocket fuel, all sourced right there on the moon. This dramatically cuts our reliance on Earth for lunar missions and could make the moon a critical pit stop for missions heading to Mars and even further out. But water isn't the only game in town. Lunar regolith, that dusty rocky layer on the surface, has huge potential as a construction material. Imagine using 3D printing to build habitats, landing pads, and even radiation shields out of moon dust. That means less stuff to launch from Earth, which again saves a ton of money. And then there's helium-3, an isotope that's super rare on Earth but found in lunar soil. It's been hyped as a potential fuel for future nuclear fusion reactors. That's still a bit more speculative, a long-term dream, but incredibly exciting if it pans out. So what's kickstarting these lunar industries? A big push from governments, especially NASA's Artemis program, which is all about teaming up with commercial companies. Initiatives like the Commercial Lunar Payload Services, or CLPS, are letting private companies send their own landers and rovers to the moon. This is creating a whole ecosystem of businesses for transport, resource hunting, and building infrastructure. And because the moon is relatively close, travel times and communication delays are way shorter than for most asteroids, making those initial operations a bit more manageable. Of course, the moon has its own set of challenges. It's a harsh place. Extreme temperature swings, super abrasive dust that gets into everything, and radiation. Developing tech that can survive and thrive there needs serious investment. And, crucially, There needs to be a sustainable market for lunar resources that goes beyond just government contracts. Initially, space agencies will be the main customers, buying propellant and other goodies for their missions. But for long-term success, the lunar economy needs more diverse customers. So what are the big economic factors tying all this space resource stuff together? Well, a massive one is launch costs. Thanks to awesome reusable rocket technology, getting to space is becoming cheaper and more frequent. As that trend continues, the business cases for asteroid mining and lunar industries just get stronger and stronger. Investment in this brand new sector is a mix right now. Government funding, adventurous venture capital, and strategic money from established aerospace giants. Public-private partnerships are absolutely key. Governments often act as the first big customers and help set up the rules, while private companies bring the innovation and get things done efficiently. Another super important piece of the puzzle is creating clear international laws and regulations for space resource extraction and property rights. The Outer Space Treaty lays down some basic principles, but we're going to need more specific agreements to give commercial investors the confidence they need to pour in serious cash. Looking ahead, developing space resources isn't just about making a profit. It's about enabling a sustainable and ever-expanding human presence in space. The first steps will be all about prospecting, finding out what's where, demonstrating the technology, and setting up pilot processing plants. The first products we'll likely see hitting the in-space market: water-derived propellants for fueling spacecraft already up there. As the infrastructure grows and the tech gets more advanced, the range of resources we extract and products we manufacture will expand. We could see in-space manufacturing, servicing of satellites, and maybe even space tourism supported by materials sourced right there in space. So, while there are still huge hurdles to overcome, the journey towards a vibrant economy built on space resources is definitely underway. The coming decades are going to be absolutely pivotal in transforming these ambitious visions of asteroid mining and lunar industries into profitable, sustainable realities. And that will fundamentally change humanity's relationship with space. Pretty mind-blowing, right? That's all the time we have for today on Fun Facts Online. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time with more incredible facts.